Hello friends, and welcome to the channel. Today we're at the Richardson-Zlogar campsite and we're hiking the New England Trail. It was a long day yesterday and I could have easily slept in, but then I would have missed this phenomenal sunrise. There's no doubt that this is the best campsite for sunrise on the entire 215-mile New England Trail. The Richardson-Zlogar cabin, which was built by the Appalachian Mountain Club in 2012, can sleep up to 12 people and sits in a prime spot for views of several neighboring mountains, including Mount Grace in Massachusetts and Mount Monadnock in New Hampshire. Good morning. This is day 2 on the New England Trail. We're at the Richardson-Zlogar campsite. It got down to 22 degrees last night, so it's definitely chilly. With overnight temps below freezing, I had a good amount of ice in my water bottle, so I carefully added some warm water, not boiling, to my smart water bottle to melt it. I had a full 2 liters of water in my CNOC bag to get me through breakfast and the first part of the hike. Joseph and I discussed the rest of our trip. Much of it would be in remote areas with limited bailout options. In the end, he decided it would be best to head back to his car. Joseph would hike a half a mile out to the road where he was able to call a cab for a ride back to his car. Let's pause the video and talk briefly about hydration and nutrition while backpacking. What happened to Joseph could have easily happened to anyone. I recommend eating a couple hundred calories and hydrating every hour while backpacking. If you hike at a 2-mile-an-hour pace, stop every 2 miles. Even better would be to look at the map and see if you can pre-plan your stops. Look for things like trail junctions, or features, vistas, or water crossings as great places to stop, have a snack, and hydrate. I like water crossings because you can actually camel up a little bit, fill up your water bottle, and keep going. Another thing is it's important to have your water accessible. You won't drink enough water if you have to take off your pack or can't reach it while hiking. One last thought is to add electrolytes to your water. There are numerous brands that sell packets that you can easily add to your water bottles. We have one tent platform over there. That's tent platform 1. We have the cabin itself, and then beyond that we have tent platform 2 where we stayed, and beyond is a porta potty which they can truck up here. I guess there's a road that comes up here which makes it convenient. So all around awesome campsite with a super view over here if you check it out. That's Mount Monadnock off there in the distance, and that's Mount Grace over here on the right. All right, I'm all packed up and ready to leave the Richardson-Zlogar campsite, and over there is our next destination, Mount Grace. It's going to be about 6 or 6.5 miles of hiking today, and then we're going to go down the backside of it and stay at Mount Grace Shelter. It's 9:44 and I'm off to a late start today, but that really doesn't matter. I only got about 7.6 miles to do to get to the Mount Grace Shelter. So it should be a much easier day than yesterday. Today we continue north on section 17 of the net. The trail descends Stratton Mountain and follows a historic 5th Massachusetts Turnpike. It then continues eastward on a remote route north of Warwick's White Road towards the southern tip of Mount Grace Forest. The route climbs on the old snowshoe trail to the fire tower at the summit of Mount Grace. From there, it's all downhill to the Mount Grace Shelter, which will be our campsite for the night. The net shoots across the power lines here. It also happens to be the junction of the Alexander Hill Trail. Oh, crossing the power lines. Again, the big mountain in the center of the power lines is Notch Mountain. believe the trail goes straight behind me, but this massive blowdown is obviously blocking the trail. Guess I gotta find my way around this one. There it is. What kind of scat could that be? This marks the beginning of a long stretch of hiking on the 5th Massachusetts Turnpike. No, it's not Interstate 90. It's one of over 60 toll roads in operation in the first half of the 1800s. The 5th Turnpike went from Templeton to Athol with 2 western branches, one to Greenfield and this one to Northfield. We just passed some ATVs. Judging from this sign here, they're not allowed. And it's mainly for snowmobiles. Looks like you need permits to ride here. It's possible they could be out here doing some maintenance. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Say we're going reasonable speed. Bear scat? Quite possibly. It's about the 3rd pile I've seen. The New England Trail has been routed around the washout to this new downstream bridge. Good news, I just got a text from my colleague. He said he got back to his car safe. Glad to hear it. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Temperature's up to about 50 now, so that's pretty good. Interesting, we've come to a 4-way intersection in the middle of the woods. That's it, lunch break is over. Okay, we've reached the junction of the Around the Mountain and the Up the Mountain Trail, New England Trail. And in 3/10 we'll be at the summit of Little Mount Grace, and then probably another mile after that we'll be at the summit of Mount Grace itself. It's gonna be a lot of uphill, so let's go hit it. It's been steep, and there's still a lot of blowdowns even on this trail. Just taking a rest. Almost there. From here just to the right of that pine tree we can see Mount Crag, and as we look to our left that body of water is Moores Lake. I think we're standing pretty much at the summit here. It's about 1,226 feet, the summit of Little Mount Grace. There's that one view, but now it's onward to Mount Grace. Alright, a little bit of downhill. In total 8/10 of a mile to get to Mount Grace. It's about 400 feet taller than Little Mount Grace. All right, behind me is the road to the summit. At the summit, there are 2 picnic tables for eating and taking a siesta. The original Mount Grace Tower was built in 1911. Today's 68-foot tall tower is the 3rd, and it was built in 1939. The tower is staffed during fire season. The final push to the Mount Grace shelter was steep and muddy, but I couldn't have been happier to get there. That's 5:30, I made it to the Grace Mountain shelter. Boy, am I tired. I'll sleep good tonight, I think. I was joined by a friendly group of 3 who built this fire for us to enjoy before settling in for the night. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss the final day of this exciting trip.